Well, hello, and welcome back. I'm Andrew O'Neill, and I am live coding at work. I know this is kind of a little bit after hours, but I had a little bit that I wanted to finish up, so I'm going to do it. And before I actually do that, let me first of all make sure that I have. I guess I'm going to have to expand this from 90 seconds to 120 seconds. I'm too optimistic about how long it takes me to copy and paste, apparently. Anyway, okay, so let me give a little bit of recap for those of you tuning in the evening time. By the way, I do have the comments open on Twitch and YouTube, so feel free to comment away. And excuse me just one second while I get some things out of the way of the screen here. Oh, come on. No, don't do that. Go back. Go back. Okay, sorry. All right. Hello, and welcome. So what we've got going on is there were some webhooks that I needed to secure specifically for PandaDoc. There's not a Node module available for this. And the challenging part was that they require you to SHA-SUM the bytes of the body, which doesn't sound too crazy at first blush, but the problem with this is generally if when you're using web framework, the body, by the time you get it, you've already parsed the bytes. So if we want to get back, all of this JSON data, typically what you would do is you would have a way of sorting things. Say it's an array, it comes in a particular order, that's fine. But you'd take the object and you'd sort the keys. But I guess because this is a rather big object, it's not done that way. Anyway, so it's just a little bit difficult because you have the body parser, the JSON body parser, that needs to, parse the data. So that needs to have access to the listener for the pipe. And then you also have your actual hashing function that needs to be able to listen to the data. So you need to have two things access the stream of the data. And I was just kind of stumbling through figuring out how to make that work in the best way. And I, tried a couple different ways. And I was like, this doesn't quite feel right. It seems like this is, going to end up to having some bad behavior. And then I kind of stumbled upon a pattern. Well, not stumbled upon, and brute forced my way into a pattern that I think is going to work. And so right now I'm just at the point of I had to break for dinner and was spending some time with the fam. So now I'm back at it, and I want to get to the point where I've got a little mini test here at the end of the file. I often do this, where I just say, if you run the file by itself, it runs the test. And so, we got a pop-up I need to get rid of there. Hello, welcome to both of you. Feel free to, I guess, I'd like to know where you're from, what you code in, what brought you here, and any questions that you have as I go along. Anyway, so I have these little functions that I'll put at the end of code sometimes to be the mini test, and sometimes I might refactor that out so it can go into some sort of automated testing or whatever. But I'm pretty light. I don't really use testing frameworks in JavaScript. They're very nice in Go. Well, there's one built in as part of the language tools. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead. I guess I just need to wrap this thing in a promise because I'm faking out a request. I'm just taking, because a request, as far as what I need it for, just needs to be a pipe and needs to have a query object. So I'm just faking it out down here. And I guess what I need to do as well is I'm going to do var p equals new promise, and I'm going to wrap this up. Whoops. Because first I'm going to test the error condition, which I guess technically I should have two different tests for this, but meh. And then I'm going to test the success condition. So right now, I'm not actually running the verification, but I'm running the other bits, and it should not get to pass. It should fail instead. And we're going to just go ahead and reject in any place that it can be rejected. So I'm not going to throw because that doesn't make any sense. I was throwing because in the way that I normally do things, I'm using @root async router, and that will allow you to have async functions where all the errors properly propagate. But I want to build this in such a way that it can work. It's not expected to have that it's going to work in, well, just generally middleware. You want to work with bare bones Express. You don't want it to have any particular extensions or anything. So you got to be a little bit more vigilant about it, I guess. But anyway, so in order for me to be able to test this the way that I want to, I think I just need to have that go around like that. And then I think I should be able to return it. I think I want to try some other things out as well. So we'll see how this goes. But this should basically, if I get here, I should resolve. And then I guess that's where I really should put my pass, is if I can get down here. There's my big pass. Okay. And now I'm just going to run this test again. And I should this time, instead of getting an uncaught rejection, I should get a caught rejection. So let's go ahead and just run it. Good. Signature does not match. That's what should happen when we don't have a matching signature. And I think in this particular case, we don't really need to do the stack. The message is good enough. So let's run that again and just get the message out. Yeah. Signature does not match. Or maybe in this case, maybe the stack would be good. Anyway, so that's good. I'm going to go ahead and take out some of these console.logs I had in there. Oh, coming in from Australia, huh? Nice. Nice. I will spare you the first, 6 stupid jokes that you've heard a million times that came to my mind out of courtesy to both of us. So here's my question. Obviously, everybody loves Australian accents. You know this. Do you love American accents? Do you like it when I say watermelon? We had this British girl in my church group when I was in college, and that was her parlor trick, is she would say watermelon in an American accent. And it, I don't know, for some reason it was hilarious. And I realized that British accents and Australian accents are very different, but they are kind of similar to our crude, crass, untrained ears. But then, I don't know, Australia seems to have in the media that we have, one solid accent, whereas the UK has 6 million different accents. I don't know. Is it? I mean, I guess America has 5 or 6 different accents because you got the New York, you got the South, all that. Anyway, you're probably not here to hear more about that nonsense. Okay, what was I need to sure up this test. I'm going to make a copy of it, actually. I think that's what I'm going to do. So I guess what I could just await this, and that should be fine, because this itself is an async function, yeah. So I can just await that. I guess I can await it up top here, and that should be fine. So let's do it that way. Let's await here. We don't need the P. So first, what I'm going to do is, here's a little trick. So I do a dot catch, and then you can just put object, because that's essentially an identity. And then we can do a dot then. And then if error, what is it now? If not error, instance of error, then we want to throw new error, expected mismatch signature error. That's whoops. Let me get back here. Expected mismatch signature error. So I guess I should do this, or, so if it's not instance of that, or error dot message not equal mismatch signature. Yeah, that seems right. So we catch the error so that we can pass it on, because casting an error to an object does nothing, obviously. And then, yeah, so then what we get in our then should be an error. We're going to double check that it's an error. So there's part of the test. Now we're going to go ahead and get rid of that bit there. And we'll just go get rid of this bit here. And I kind of want to not expected to get this error. We also kind of need a timeout error, but I'm not going to worry about it, I guess. Okay. All right. Test that unverified signature fails. Alrighty. And then test that verified signature passes. Bo-do-do-do. Bum, 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 bum. Okay, and we don't need to worry about awaiting that, because we can just await right there, yeah? Yeah, I think so. Okay, so again, this should not be possible. Not expected, shouldn't be possible. And then what else? So this one also not expected / shouldn't be possible. And then there we go. So this one we should end up with, whoops. Well, let me just leave those in for now, just in case this doesn't go the way that I expect it to go. All right, let's run this. Webhook middleware must be used before any body parser. Oh, that makes sense. That actually does make sense, because we need to redo the rec. Yeah, we need to redo both of these things. Let's go ahead and just put that right, whoops, here. Good place for it. Oh, that doesn't need to be done that way. And I guess we don't need a let on that. There we go. Okay. So, good. Oh, and then also, of course, this should process.exit1. This is kind of long enough. It doesn't really feel like a mini test at this point. So I should probably move it over into a test file, but I'm just going to leave it here for now. Or maybe I'll move it over. We'll see. It's kind of big. Let's see. Okay. All right. Let's get some mini passes in here just for good output. So I'm going to say console.log. Let's give this a little pass. Bad / missing signature should fail. And then throw down here. Oops, let's do that first. Let me double check. Did we actually call resolve? We don't call resolve on that. We call resolve up there. Good. And then here, so pass correct signature should verify. All right, cool. So let's run that one more time. Yeah, I like that. Looks nice. And let's make sure the other one still passes. Cool, it does. And in keeping with that, let's go ahead and add just a touch more flair to this. Give it something at the beginning and at the end, so it's got a little bit of extra space. I just like the way it looks. Easier to read. Okay, so that one's passing, huzzah. This one passes, huzzah. Need some documentation and set some expectations for how this thing works, and then we'll get it implemented. I think we're on track for that. Okay. And then just a reminder, as y'all are coming and going, if you like what you like, you get more of what you like. And if you would like to subscribe, just be sure to click the bell for personalized recommendations so that you get the code stuff and you only get the other stuff that I occasionally do if it's something that's already in your interests. Okay, so what I'm imagining this is going to look like, I should maybe even implement this first. But what I'm imagining this is going to look like, we'll just throw usage up here. Oops, usage. Let's see, install. Just go ahead, npm install, save, PandaDoc. And you're going to have your, app. I guess I'll just cut out this point. We'll just go straight here. So app.use, say body parser.json, for example. PandaDoc webhook must come before other body parsers. I think technically, it could come after, but let's just work with what we got here. PD webhook. Is that what we're going to call it? I don't know. So this is going to be PandaDoc/webhook. Okay, so I'm going to have to do some index on that. Put an index.js there. And I guess we'll just make it so this should take your process.env.pandadoc secret, or let's say shared key. That's what this should take. And then this should be PD webhook. And we should give this a path. Both of these should have paths, of course. / say webhooks PandaDoc, like so. Yeah, so it's going to look like that. And then we're going to do this again. I think .verify is what we're going to call it. And then app.say post webhooks PandaDoc. I don't know. Let me see, just kind of get an idea. What are ours called? I forget. Let me pull this up so that's not down in the video gutter with all the time info. Probably pull this up just a touch too. There we go. Okay, that's under API routes index, and let's check out where we've got our. Let's just go to our webhooks. Webhooks, and what does our Panda stuff look like? Document. Okay, it's all kind of. Yeah, it's all kind of bespoke. Your endpoint name. Yeah, let's do that. Your handler. There we go. Sure. PandaDoc webhook verifier must be used before webhook routes. There we go. All right, feedback. Does this look? I mean, obviously you're not familiar with PandaDoc, but this is just kind of. I think this could work for many things. Is this good? Must have access to rec before rec.body is read. There we go. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think that should do it. I think that's how I'm going to be implementing it. Let's put in here a features section. PandaDoc webhook, let's call it like this, signature verification, and then say, open to PRs for more features. Server-side features, server-related features. Yeah, whatever. Bum. Alrighty. When I check over here, I'm just checking to see if we got any comments. All right, let's do at v1. Was it at 1.x? Yeah. I think that's about as good as it's gonna get. Dot. Yeah, I think that's about right. And that's kind of all this thing does at the moment. Let's scope out the API here. So for the API, we're going to have a number of things. I mean, really, it's sign sync. So most of the time when you're doing a list, I'd say try to do a table first and see how that feels. And I don't know exactly what shared key, and this should be stream, which I guess, let's just be more clear, that's going to be rec, and then this is going to be, yeah, that's it, right? We're just going to take shared key and rec. Sign sync would be shared key and string. Sign would be, oh, then we need to change these to verify, of course. So these go from sign to verify, and then shared key rec and untrusted signature. Maybe I just put this out like this. Let PD PandaDoc equal require PandaDoc Webhook. Should it be Webhook or Webhooks? I'm still kind of on the fence on this one. Would love the input. Yeah, and so then we could just say, I don't know, middleware equals PandaDoc, I guess. Middleware dot verify, and then we've got PandaDoc dot sign. Whoops, DAC. PandaDoc. PandaDoc dot verify. PandaDoc sign sync. Maybe how should these be listed? I think it actually is more appropriate to list them that way. And no, I think it's fair to call this stream. So this is a read stream. Read stream. Readable stream. Sure, why not? Make it more clear. Readable stream, untrusted, hex, and then let's just say basically the same thing, but instead it's going to be a string. And yeah, so that all looks right. So we got middleware dot verify. So rec res next. Oh, and this takes shared key again. Yep. Shared key. Verify takes rec res next. Okay. Oh, and then of course you should have your error handler function error rec res next. If error.code, this was going to be what? PandaDoc webhook. Do stuff. And this is actually, I don't know. What do you want to do? Log webhook failure or some such. There we go. I think that's all right. Thoughts? Oh, dying the death. Don't you know? All right, so we got sign sync for streams, for UTF-8 strings. Actually, they weren't super clear on that in their documentation, but it's JSON, so it's a UTF-8 body string. Has to be. Yeah, well, yeah, they don't need to put it in their documentation. It's JSON. It's JSON body. That's what it is. For streams. Verify sync. There we go. Okay. And maybe I should not be so specific, actually, because it could be UTF-16, I suppose. It just matters that the bytes are right. Okay. I think I kind of want to call it webhooks. What did I call it here? Webhook? Because webhook.sign, webhook.verify. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Yep. Okay. Seems good. I like it. .env.config. Sure. Let pd shared key equals. There we go. pd shared, whoops, shared key. There we are. Or should I export it like this? .middleware. I kind of like that better, honestly. All right, so this middleware, shared, whatever. This is kind of the middleware factory, so But I kind of like that, actually. So let's go ahead and do that. So webhook index.js, use strict, and then this is just module.exports, and we're just going to export some stuff. So essentially, what I'd like to do here actually is object.assign. Actually, we could just do it this way. We're going to take module.exports, and we are going to assign it require /hmac. That's fair enough. And then we're going to do module.exports.middleware equals require express. Okay, cool. I like that. Classy enough. Okay. Let's see. And it's like to do, whoops, subclass the error. That's something I should know how to do. I'm going to figure it out sometime soonish. But I definitely don't want to use, when I looked it up last time, there was a bunch of stuff about classes, and I don't want to use any of that crap. We don't need that in JavaScript. Get out of here. It's just one of those things that seems like, let's see, I was actually just checking my email real quick to see, because I thought somebody might actually send me an email with a little snippet on how to do it. But anyway, yeah, classes is one of those things where they were a hot flash in the pan. You know, people wanted to use them. They were all really cool, and they decided, like, wait a minute, this is really stupid. Let's not do this anymore. React hooks, you know, React was, and somebody brought this to my attention. React is really like 10 different frameworks because it changes all the time. So, you know, they keep the same name, but, you know, it's like completely fundamentally different all the time. But anyway, you know, it's best practices. Like, let's use classes. Actually, wait, that's really complicated and convoluted. That was a mistake. Let's not use classes. Okay, so this is good. All right. Yeah, that's going to work as documented. Let me go ahead. Let's see what I can do here. Yeah, I think this is documented well enough. PandaDoc.middleware. And then I guess I don't know what to call this then. Middleware recres next. Verify recres next. Sure. Yeah, that kind of bugs me. Let's call this Webhook handler. Webhook handler.verify. Perfect. And then I'll revise that down here. Yeah, that'll be good. Must come before body parsers. Must come. Oh, you know what? And there's a slight bug, chance of a bug that I was thinking about before, but I need to go fix real quick. I don't think in practice this can actually happen, but in theory it can, if I'm not mistaken. Let me see. Where is it? We're resolving the promise. Waiting. No, okay, never mind. No, it cannot happen because I'm already handling the case. So, yeah, we await yeah, that's all good. Nothing wrong there. Okay, let me go back one to here. What was the reason that this works out? Panda HMac. Where'd that come from? What? That's wrong. Oh, no, because it's doing the .verify. Okay. So it's doing the, yeah. So we're just leaving the promise there. Okay, and so we await it here, guaranteeing that end has been called and that therefore it is ready to digest. Okay, let me just double check that one more time in here. So once end, this is a readable stream. So once the readable stream has come to an end, then it will resolve, which means that it will read and we'll get the hex. So, and that will happen in Express as well. Hey, how's it going? Gosh, you're up all hours of the day just like me. So I'm now, just finishing this thing up. I appreciate feedback on the documentation. I know that for a lot of you tuning in, it probably feels like this is already way outside of my wheelhouse. I don't even know what you're doing. I don't understand what webhooks are, which ask me questions then. But I guess my ideal audience would be anybody who had to deal with PandaDoc. But that's obviously extremely few people, considering that there is not yet an NPM module for it. So if that is not a testament to how few people are using it, I don't know what is. But I think this is good. We got a good usage example here. Yeah, I think everything's ready to go. I'm just going to go ahead and make sure when I do that, nothing breaks. When I do this, it passes. When I do this, it passes. Oh, I don't have a package.json for this yet. But I do have a repo for it. So let's do npm init. Actually, no, I don't want to do that here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to bring that local. So we're going to take that into project's root, and I'm just going to copy from dev. Let's see, this is, how deep are we here? We are yay deep. I'm just going to copy that right here. And bo-do-do-do. Now we've got it. So I'm going to continue from this point, but before I do, well, I'm going to go ahead and do the npm init because I'm going to have to do that. Okay, yeah, we're going to call this PandaDoc. We're going to go ahead and release it version 1.0.0 because it's immediately going to production. And Node SDK for PandaDoc. Sure. Entry point is not index.js, although I suppose, yeah, we'll make an index.js. So test command would be node webhook slash, was it hmac.js, node webhook, and this wouldn't run on Windows. A diet Dr. Pepper. Oh, it was probably in response to a question I asked, like, what are you doing up all hours of the day and night? And Diet Dr. Pepper is your solution to that problem. Is that where that was? Okay. Maybe I should call it middleware instead of Express. That looks right. Yeah, we'll go with that. Keywords. PandaDoc. Webhook. Webhooks. Verification. I don't know. Meh. Just go with PandaDoc and Webhook and API. SDK. Is this okay? Yeah, I guess that's okay. That seems good. Now, what was I going to do? Oh, I guess we don't need to double quote that there. That's fine. I was going to add an index.js. And what this was going to do was just module.exports.webhook equals require webhook. I think that was it. I don't think I was going to do anything else. That's what it is for now. Yeah, that's good enough. My Sherlocking skills. So, was it last week? My wife and I went to a murder mystery dinner, and I got to be the chief detective as part of volunteering for audience participation. I had a very important role. I died 5 minutes later. So they do this thing where you have to dance and have to, you know, come up with the best explanations why you're the best detective, and it's really just to, you know, pass the time while dinner's being made ready, and, you know, just anyway, it was just kind of a fun audience participation thing. And then after all of that, and having tested my sleuthing skills and everything, and they told me, we'll let you know what your lines are for your role. You know, we'll come and tell you in advance. And then when they came up and told me, they were like, when I come and tap you on the shoulder, die loudly. I was like, oh man, I had my moment and it passed so quickly. Okay. All right, Npm install. Is this going to get a package lock? Yay, I get a package lock to boot. All right, so how's this? Browser, Node, ES version. What have I got here locally? A little bit more than that? Yeah, actually, whoa. This should totally be true. Let's see. I wonder what ASI means. JS hint ASI. So somebody else had edited the one that I had supplied and added more stuff to it. Let's see. So I would want ASI false. Absolutely want ASI false. It should complain when there are no semicolons. Iterator true. Loopback. What does iterator true mean? Let's just look at this. JS hint iterator true. Iterator. Just JS hint iterator. Where does that take us? Oh, options reference. This is what I want. Okay. Iterator. Everybody should be required by law who programs in JavaScript to read this stuff. Suppress warnings about the iterator property. Property is not supported by our browsers. Use it carefully. No, I don't want to suppress that warning. I don't know why we'd want to suppress that. Okay, let's see. Loop func. We do not want to suppress warnings about that either. See, this is the problem with linters. Then people just go in and change the linting rules to disable them. It's like, no, we actually don't. Whatever. You know, if it's there at all, then you're winning a little bit at least. Okay. Unused. So unused, is there another option than true? Option can be set to vars to only check for variables not checked. Okay, well, unused parameters that are followed by use. So I just want vars because I want to be able to fully define function parameters. Okay, so this is good to learn this. Late def, no func, that's awesome. Lax break, yeah. And then what is emit again? I should go through this list again. I'm suggesting a new law that we should all be required to follow that I have not yet followed. Or it's been a while. Lots of new stuff. Okay, this option has been deprecated. Will be removed in the next major release. Limited scope to issues, code correctness, and this option prohibits the use of immediate function invocations without wrapping them in parentheses. Yeah, the Pretty already handles that, so we really don't need it. Okay. So, yeah, I'd say Node true in general. Even though we're not using browser, I'd say browser true because they're getting closer and closer to being the same. Okay. Yeah. This option prohibits the use of bitwise. So does it say what the defaults are? Yeah, I would say that bitwise would be a good one. Curly, definitely. This is one of my pet peeves when people don't put in their curlies because you get crap like this all the time. That one's important. Yeah, we got that. Yeah, that one. Probably, I don't know. I don't know if I want to go there right now. Prohibits overriding prototypes and natives. Yeah, definitely. But I don't want to get too into this. Because a lot of these options aren't even relevant to this thing. Yeah. Indent, late def, lean switch. Prohibits whatever, max complexity. Oh. Linearly independent paths. Max depth. Ha 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 ha. Ah ha 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 ha. Oh yes. I want to turn those on. Okay. This is kind of a tangent though. I'm going to get back to the main reason I'm here, but I need to go back through this and kind of, particularly these two. These are ones I want to apply in my code base. Not this one, but the broader code base. Anyway, let's see. Those three, they can go there. E, F. The rest of these ought to be. Those three are like big ones, but the rest of these they ought to be in alphabetical. Let's see. Let's move. E, F, G, L. Yeah, late, lax. Sure, that looks good. Okay, so I'll call this all good. All right, what do I do next? So everything's looking good. Everything should work as intended. Npm test. Does that work too? Yep, that works. Excellent. Okay. So this is what I plan to do from here on out probably. Is I'm going to take this back over and I'm just going to try it out in the code base. So we're going to move it to node modules. There we go. And we're just going to give it a little test run. So it is safe at this point in my estimation to rumruff it from here. And let's just go ahead and give it a try. I'm going to bring it in way up top here. Where's our body parser? There we go, body parser. So let's say API webhooks. Again, I get confused between webhook and webhooks. I think it's webhooks. PandaDoc. And then we're going to need... okay, this is slightly problematic. And all right, let PandaDoc no PD middleware equals require PandaDoc slash webhook. Yeah. And then middleware. And then we're going to give it the shared key, which I need to go figure out what that is real quick. Give me just a second. I'm going to bring that up on my other screen. Okay, I need to add another SSH key real quick. Give me a second here. Added that. And now I'm going to go poke around for where we've defined that for development. Alrighty, I think, could be wrong. I think I found it here. Okay, so that is going to be process res.env.panda_secret. All right, so then we're gonna put in the Panda middleware here, and then a little later on, probably right about here, we're going to run the verify. So let's think of how that could fail. I'm checking over here. We got any other comments or anything? Oh, hey, welcome. Where are you from? What do you do? Okay, so what I need to double check on is that we only, let's see, if we don't set, no, I think the way that it is right, because what I was going to say is if we haven't set the promise for PandaDoc verification, then we don't need to await it. But I think that if it's asymmetrical like that, that could be a way to accidentally introduce errors. Anywhere where we see the verify function, we should assume that if it doesn't verify, then it fails. So I think that I actually feel quite good about that. Okay, and then I will need a little test util. So here's what we're going to do. Well, we won't do that quite yet. All right, so this looks good. And so what we're going to do, we're going to go into the routes, and we're going to go into the PandaDoc webhooks, and we're going to put a test here, and then we're just going to put what the heck is Webhook? I'll have to look into that again sometime. Hopefully it's not misappropriately named and it actually does what I need it to do. But we're going to do res.json success true. Well, I guess I could just send back result, whatever. Rec res next, except we don't need that. We just need these two. Yeah. So this gets to go away. So security. Due to the nature of PandaDoc webhooks, the verification layer is in src index. So I don't like having these kind of far away from each other like that, because it would be nice to see, you know, what we want to see is that we can do a test against this, and I could put this in the automated tests. I'm going to put here to do automated test for PandaDoc webhook failure plus success. Yeah, that's what I'll do. So what I'll do is here we've got a webhook that's just test. It's going to return success true, or it's going to give back an error. And so I'm just going to have this endpoint set up so that we run our tests against it, and it should always pass. We should be able to run both a success and a failure and get back success and get back the error. So for automated security testing. And I'm going to actually put that in. Okay, so with that done, let's see what happens if we just restart the server. Where'd my big logs go? Let me scroll down a bit here. That's not the right one. this looks like the right one. Okay, and interesting. Interesting. Oh no. That could be problematic. Okay, so I may need to save this real quick. So let's take our node modules PandaDoc. Let's bring it out here. May need to do an npm install. There may be a module that wasn't updated. I'm going to go check real quick. This is unrelated to the current problem at hand, but just part of merging some stuff in. So let's go into auth 3000 and let's get the latest, make sure we're all up to date. And this should have a logout. If it does not, let's go check and see here. Log out. Okay, yeah, it does. Cool. So latest version is as it should be. So we should be able to, let's just do this. Let's link node modules PandaDoc /PandaDoc. I think that should work. Node modules. That'll prevent it from being deleted. Whoops. PandaDoc. Interesting. I must have done that backwards. So let me get rid of this PandaDoc and let's reverse those. I always get these confused between source and target on ln /s PandaDoc. And then just checking over here. Alrighty. Let's try restarting the server again. And let's see. Cannot find module tar. Let's try that install yet one more time. I don't know why we have to run the install twice, but we do for some silly reason. Otherwise, we get complaints of a module not existing that we don't even know that we're using or why or how it comes about. Okay. And I am looking at system logs. Interesting. All right, so let's do npm install. Let's see, what was auth 3000 at? Let's bring this back up again real quick. Push d projects root, push d auth 3000. What tag are we on these days? Let me look at git log. That'll be a better indicator. Fix missing semicolon. So 10.8, 0.10.8. Okay. So then if I look in package.json, I should see, oh, yeah, that's way wrong. What branch am I on right now? What have I changed so far? So let's do a git stash on this. Well, let me check. What's modified in tests? I don't think I modified anything in tests, did I? Looks like white space changed. I don't know that that's relevant. Let's check out master, because I think everything we're doing here should apply equally well to master. But I think masters should pretty much be at the same level. Yeah, all right. So we definitely need to fix this. Shouldn't be at latest 10.8, 0.10.8. Alrighty. And then I'm going to have to run npm install again twice, so whatevs. Alright, npm install. Let that do its thing. And I do need to get to bed here soonish. I just wanted to finish this up because I don't like just leaving things on my mind. Okay. Alrighty. Looking good in the neighborhood, I suppose. And it's just going to do everything again. Okay, that's fine. So I have it run prettier on Npm Install, just to really double down on the prettierness. Okay, so at this point, I think it's safe to do an add to those. Yeah, nothing there. Git commit -m bug fix use paired auth 3000. Use version of auth 3000. Use correctly paired version of auth 3000. Sure. Okay, that looks good. Who knows why? Why? How many times do I need to run npm install here? Come on now. This is getting a little ridiculous. What is happening with this? I don't actually want to run all this stuff all the time, you know? Okay. No stage files match any task. Okay, great. Great. I'm so glad that you bothered me to tell me that. Wonderful. Okay. Git stash pop. Oh no. Your local files aborted. It's the same daggone change, you nitwit. All right, git stash pop. Okay, cool. And let's run that again, and then let's do the... Okay, now we're going to restart the server. I'm just going to check over here. Looks like the server's actually coming up this time, maybe, sort of, kind of. Interesting. Very interesting. Huh. Very, very interesting. Okay, let's go over here. Let's see what happened. So here we had webhook, we have index, and middleware is equal to require express. And let's see, what was express? Module dot export. And if I had a nickel for every time I've done that the past couple of days. What the letter L is that? Okay. Webhook express.js export. There we go. That looks a little bit better. npm test. Still looking good. And we're going to take this to there. Good. All right. Restart again. Okay, I'm a little bit concerned. So now we're getting some circular dependencies that I don't think we were getting before. I'll have to look into that. We've been getting circular dependencies. Yeah, I'm going to have to look into this. And I'd fixed them by just moving things around, but they're kind of fragile, and it has to do with code structure, so whatever. I will need to look into that. So I'll put that in my to-do list. Echo Circular dependencies again. todo.md. And then I guess I want to do printf actually, because I want to be able to put in some new lines. And in a new line. There we go. Okay. So I got that queued up for myself. Now, what I want to be able to do is test this webhook and see that it can fail and stuff. So I guess what I need to do with that is I also need to be able to make a request. So we're going to npm install save dev at root request. And we're going to make, I guess, webhook.request. And this should be pretty simple. And I should actually be able to get rid of the dependency on @root request, but it's very small and it does not have any other dependencies, so I feel all right about this. Okay, let request equals require @root request. And then we're going to do request. I guess what should this export? Module.exports equals. This could be a function that's going to take some ops and we're going to assign the data on the way out, I guess. We have to sign the data before we can send it. Unfortunately, we don't have this is not a header, it's a query parameter. So we have to know ahead of time. So let's put in here URL string, body string, and I guess shared key. Yeah, so let's do that. Let's have that, and then we will bless me. Oh, you know what? What did I make that test thing? I think I need to make it a post. I may have made it a get by mistake. No, it's a post. Good. Okay, cool. Because yeah, it wouldn't work. Oh, and I think of the docs. Let me go check this real quick. README. Did I have a get in here? Get. I have a post. Yeah, because it would have to be a post. There we go. Or a patch or put or something that has a body naturally. Okay, so JSON really this would be body string, headers. We're gonna say content type. I guess we could. Can we set both? I'm not sure if this will work. Can I set both JSON true and body? I don't want to. That doesn't really make sense. It makes more sense to do this. Content type is application JSON. And I learned you don't actually need to put the char set equals UTF-8 because we kind of discussed this earlier because JSON specifies already that it is UTF-8. So it does not need the extra identifier for that. Okay, and so for the URL, we're going to just let that go to the URL. And then what we need to do is we need to be able to get hmac is equal to require hmac.js. And then that should give us .sign sync. So we're going to take shared key and then body stir. And that should give us sig. And then the URL, we're going to need to parse that. So we're going to need to do URL parsing on the URL. Or maybe we just add a query. Let's do it this way. So we're going to do say, we'll call it a URI for not having to double over our variables here. That's going to have to be right. And then our URL object, search params, is that what's called? Let's open this up here. Let's do this. We're going to go to Node. We're going to do new URL. Whoops. I did not mean to do that. No, I definitely do not want to go full screen. I do not want to go double full screen. Thank you very much. Okay. So, new URL, and we're just going to give this something, example.com foo equals bar. Let's say that's our URL, so I'm just going to use var here because I don't want to have to deal with let in the console. All right, search params, search params. There we go, params. And then there's like a dot append. There we go, append. And we want to append signature. Give it a nice signature. XOXO. Oh, and sorry, I wasn't paying attention to the comments. I was off my own little world. Let me check and see here. Totally understand if you don't want to answer it, given this is a scope package, but can you elaborate on at root request? Is just more familiar interface used frequently? So yeah, at root request. So all of the root packages, the scope packages, they're all the root stuff. It's public. It's just nice names for things. I keep the simple name on it. I use at root request as a replacement for request because request is heavy and bloated and had tons of dependencies. And so I created root request and it does everything that request did, but in only 500 lines of code. Well, it did everything that the average person ever used request for in only 500 lines of code. Or maybe it's 550 or, something like that. Plus there's comments in there and white space and all that. So yeah, and I highly recommend that anybody else use it that wants to. It's very simple, straightforward. It follows the existing conventions, doesn't break them. One thing I was kind of frustrated with about Axios is it kind of breaks in a couple of places. It's not too bad, but it kind of breaks the conventions that had already been existing. And I see that with a lot of the other implementations. And if there's ever something wrong with it, I know how to fix it like that. That's another thing. I've come to the point where I don't use other people's libraries unless I really feel like they have a lot of value to them. If it's something that I can code up in an hour, I'll probably take the hour or two to code it up, because then whenever there's a problem with it, then I know how to deal with it and I can put my guarantee on it. Whereas just random libraries on the internet, unless I can, look at the code and I say, oh, this is, really good, or it's something so complex that I just can't, it would turn into a weekend or a week-long project. Like, for example, if I was to re-implement Tough Cookie, which I would like to do, but it's because the code is, kind of garbage in a lot of ways. Well, and then they refactored it into TypeScript or something like that too. So they maintained all of the crappy APIs that were broken because they don't work with new stuff. And then they put it, it's like, why invest the effort in that? Like, why not invest the effort in creating something that's new and small and does what it needs to do and works with the modern APIs? Like, why rewrite broken stuff in TypeScript? It's the world we live in, Why do something useful when you can rewrite it in TypeScript instead? Of course, somebody could probably say the same thing about my philosophy here. Anyway, I'm wondering, does this change? So if we do search params now, okay, so it looks good. So if I do url.toString, yeah, that looks great. Okay, so I'm going to go and take this approach. I think this is a good approach to add something to the query params. I might already have a way to specify query params or something in request. If I do, I probably shouldn't. Then we're just going to do append, and then we're going to say signature, because this should not have signature. I wonder if there's like a replace. So is there a replace? replace. Do we just have append? Okay, we've got get, entries, delete, set. There we go. How about set? Can we do set, signature, baz, and then if we go back here, it should not have added. It should have just set. Yeah, we don't want append. We want set. And lots of frameworks have this kind of thing where there's an append and a set for a lot of HTTP stuff because technically it's all plural. So you gotta be careful to use the set one, not the append one, otherwise you'll end up with funky things like two signatures. Anyway, so I'm gonna set this and put it to sig. And then I guess I just want to go back to string. No, I can leave it like this because it's gonna get parsed again anyway. So that should work. Fingers crossed, I think. Okay. So that is, it's going to sign the body. It's going to send the request with the signature. It's going to send it to the specified URL. And let's go ahead and have it return the result. Yeah. Okay, let me check out the comments here. From what I've heard, Microsoft implements their own libraries instead of importing them, in JavaScript at least. So Microsoft historically has had a big problem with open source because it can infect your code. And then also Microsoft recently has had a bigger focus on security. And if you have watched the news at all, you know, like virus level crap gets uploaded to NPM every day. And a lot of it gets caught before it goes anywhere, but some of it makes it into Create React app, for example. So it's not a good idea. The Go philosophy and the Python philosophies are great philosophies. Those are true software developers. So here's the thing. Nobody in the web development community is a software engineer. And that's a harsh thing to say, and it's not entirely true because I'm in the web development community and I'm a software engineer. But the majority of the people in the web development community are in marketing, not in software engineering. The CSS is kind of infectious in that way because it brings in the people from the arts, which are great. And we want people from the arts. But the problem is web development has become too much about coolness and not enough about correctness and pragmatism. And the history of languages like Python and Go focus on correctness and pragmatism. And we need that in the web development community, but instead we get coolness, and people don't know how to distinguish between it. And I think it's a virus that has infected web development, and I don't know that there's a way to root it out other than to tell web developers to become software engineers and learn languages that software engineers use, and then go back to web development afterwards and take that empowerment with them. So anyway, in response to the whole thing about Microsoft, if I were Microsoft and I had the resources to rewrite everything, you know, the cookie parser, the request, I would rewrite all those things because I would not want all of the security vulnerabilities. I would want to know, okay, just from the ease of use perspective, when there's a bug, I wouldn't want my team being held up because they can't figure out, oh, we should just fork this and publish our own version. Like that's another weird thing that happens. People get hung up on bugs in open source. Like you fork the daggone thing and republish it. But people don't want to. They don't want to take the work to do that. I don't know. They don't want the responsibility. I don't know really what the hang up is. But people get hung up trying to figure out workarounds to code where it's like just fork the code, fix it, make a PR. That's a good thing to do, just in general. And then even if the author doesn't accept your PR, boom, you've got your working version. But I think there's a lot of weird stuff around proprietary licensing and all that too that is just kind of strange stuff. Anyway, I'm going to take another couple minutes and get back to what I was doing here. So I should be able to test this at this point. Yeah, I think so. I'm going to go ahead. Let me rsync this over. We should only see one file change there. What? Oh, no, that makes sense. Yep, okay, that makes sense. Okay, I should be able to get out of this thing here. We're going to go back over here, and I am going to put in the tests. Let's do o3 PandaDoc.js. It's not really the right, whatever. And I'll have to add that to the README. People are not good at documenting. That's one of the biggest problems, I think. That's the skill I recommend the most to people. Because if you can document, it shows that you understand how to connect problems and solutions together. And I wish I could write much better documentation, but I already write better documentation than literally 99.99% of the documentation that's out there. And I think that anybody could write 99.99% better documentation because the bar is so incredibly, embarrassingly low. I think there is a kind of a set of things that that's one of the things I'm going to put together as a cheat sheet, as a documentation cheat sheet. If you follow this checklist for your documentation, when you're done, your documentation will be better than it'll be in the top 10th % of documentation on projects. Because if you look at 1,000 projects, 10 of them have documentation, period. And then out of those 10, one of them, the documentation works well enough for you to figure out how to use the thing. Let's see. So we're going to do PD request is equal to require PandaDoc webhook request.js. There we go. And then do PD request to, and we need to do require .env .config, and then we need to do process.env.panda secret, and then whatever the body is going to be. Hello, my friends. I guess that's technically, okay, got to reconsider this already. So body. So if the body is a string, let's do this. Let headers equal. Yeah, I don't really like this, the way this is turning out. It's encapsulating too much in the wrong place. Let's just assume that this has got to be JSON. That's what you're gonna. If we say that it's really just for JSON, then I feel a lot better about it. But then what we need to do is say let body equal JSON.stringify JSON, and then we can have the body here. Well, let's still call it body stir. I think that's still a good idea. Okay. Yeah, all right. I'm happy with that. That keeps it simple, because this is really just meant for the most basic case. This is not meant for... and I'd kind of have to look and see. Let's go back to what one of their things looks like. Looks like this. Event document state changed. Version 0 maybe? I don't know. What does it end right here? And then there's a sub-object there. Let's see, where does that come to? Here. Is that closing? What tell me this thing is closing? Okay, closes. Does that close? Does it close there? Recipients? I think that's where it closes. Anyway, I'm not too worried about that. I just want to say, let's make it look something kind of sort of like the actual PandaDoc request, because that's what we're trying to emulate here. That's all. Okay, so yeah, we got that going on. And then, was it URL and then body, or body then URL? Both could make sense. URL, that makes more sense first. Yeah. So we're going to say, gosh, I forget what the, I'm going to go look over on the other screen here real quick and dig into the environment file that I cannot show you. We don't even have the port specified. Do we have a local host specified? No, that's not even in this. That's all just assumed. Okay. All just assumed by the nature of the thing that it is, that it's on localhost, so it knows it's on localhost. Anyway, we'll do this. HTTP localhost 3500 API webhooks PandaDoc test. So this one should succeed. That's our expectation here. So let's do function main, whoops. Let's do this async main dot catch function error console dot error. Error dot stack would be appropriate in this particular case. Otherwise, and then if we do that, I got to remember in all of these to make sure that they exit with failure code. And then this would be console.info pass. So at this point, what we're looking for is a pass here. So if this passes, we pass. And let's go ahead and do PD data. Or PD body. Let's call it PD body. Let's move this thing there. Whoops. So that it's not doing all that business. All right. And then let's do host equals or base URL. I had another way to get base URL. I need to check back into that. Actually, maybe I'll do that real quick. How am I doing base URL over here, for example? Base URL is what? Process.env.port application URL. Yeah, let's just copy that. And then where else does that come? We take it there and then add API to it. Sure. That's good enough for me. So let's go back here. Let's, I guess we can call this base URL. Sure, why not? And then we can say base URL is equal to base URL plus /API, was it? I think that's what it was. And so then here, PD body is well defined. Let shared key. I'll look over at comments in just a second. Shared key. So let's move the shared key up here. Just trying to make this easier to read. And then this will be, well, I guess we can just do some backtick magic here. And then let's call it, whoops, right there, base URL. There we go. Okay. So that's essentially what I want to check out. And then we've got, what was this, PD body? So this one we want to have pass. This one we want to have fail. And then this one we want to have fail. So X plus shared key. And then we could go ahead and do it the other way. I mean, this really shouldn't matter, but just for the sake of funsies, you know, sometimes you find out things. All right, so what we should find is .catch object .then must error. And I'm going to create a helper function here called must error. And we're just going to do this really simply. Well, I guess that's not even quite right. Okay, so we need to change, we need to actually return an error if we don't get success, right? Okay, so let's look at it this way. If, this case, if it has a true error, that's an error. So if error instance of error, let's just go ahead and throw that because that's unexpected error. And then let's call it resp, because that's really what we're expecting here. And then, well, I guess actually we could just not catch the object. That'd be fine for right now. So yeah, I guess what we, whoa. Yeah, let's go ahead and put this on here and here and here. And then there, let's do must success. So let's handle must success first. So must success is going to be if not resp dot body dot success. Then we're going to throw an error. Was not successful. And then we'll go ahead and pile on json.stringify. Let's go ahead and just do it like that. Yeah. JSON.stringify resp.toJSON.body null2. Okay. I feel like that's legit. And then this error thing, if it's an unexpected error, then we're going to go ahead and throw it. So if 200, let's see, if refs.status code greater than 200, or no, greater than or equal to 300, or, I mean, it's not going to be in the 100s realistically. That's good enough. Yeah. So then let's do this. So if we have success or the status code is less than 300, which that's not really good defensive programming because in JavaScript, status code could be a word like hello, in which case that would evaluate to false. So, but I haven't figured out how to get the linter to not yell at me for doing this because like that looks awkward. Well, but it's what you have to do because it's JavaScript, fool. Let's see. And hello to anybody joining in. I don't know if I specifically saw anybody come in the last couple minutes, but just a reminder, as you're coming and going, if you like what you like, you get more of what you like. So take that for what it's worth. And if you do decide to subscribe, go ahead and click the bell for personalized notifications so that you get the code stuff and maybe other stuff that you're interested in, but not the stuff that you're not interested in, because occasionally I do other non-code things. Okay, so yeah. So if we have a status code that's below 300 or that is successful, then we want to throw new error was successful but shouldn't have been. How dare you? I don't think we really need anything else for now. Let's go ahead, call that good. You know, I think we could shorten this out a little bit. It's not even about the base URL. I mean, it could be, but it's just, the URL is this. That is the URL, period. That's the only URL we're using for testing right now. So let me just go ahead and replace all of these with that so that I've got more screen real estate for other things to be front and center. All right. So I think that this is a decent test case. Also, I need to remember, especially just because of the way our code base is, but you'll find this out in the wild as well. You'll have like database processes or something that gets pulled in because of what you're testing. You get something that's pulled in side channel that then is just running in the background and your test never ends. So when you get to the pass condition, if you have something like that and it's kind of beyond your control, not really in scope to go fix that at the moment, just remember to put a process.exit 0 at the end of your test, and then your test will exit successfully. Does not work always if you want to have something require the tests and then run them in sequence. Then you might have to go back and remove that. Same thing with this, if you have like a test runner. But again, well, I won't go into it. But I'll probably end up building my own test framework for this, which is something I've wanted to do for a really long time. I've actually started it a couple of occasions, but I just want something that's simple and lightweight. If you know of something that is simple and lightweight, go ahead and let me know. Something that follows JavaScript conventions. That's the big thing for me, is I like working to the benefits of the language that I'm in, not against them. And again, back to the whole idea of, we don't have software engineers in web development. And everything has to be cool. People try to find new and novel ways to exploit JavaScript to do stupid things rather than using it for what it's good at and acknowledging its strengths. You can kind of just throw the weaknesses under the table and ignore them. Just don't use the weaknesses. Don't find cool ways to use weaknesses of a language. And again, Douglas Crockford, he spoke about this in detail. I agree with him. Probably on every point. I don't know if there's anything that I disagree with him about with the language. Okay, what happened here? Unknown protocol, HTTPS. Well, that's a lie. Now let's just nix this here. I don't think that's necessary, actually. Let's go base URL. I think it's fine to do base URL here. And just put in API slash. Okay, so this may be something wrong over in this code. Unknown protocol, HTTPS. Maybe I just do need to toString this. I'm going to just do toString. Because I may have had it set up for Node URL, and we're kind of, I think as a community, I think we're doing what's probably the right thing in transitioning over to the Webhook URL. But Node URL, and of course, we can't have a standard that operates the same across browsers. Heaven forbid that we create a new standard in, what was it, like 2018 or 2015 or something? Really, really recent. After evergreen browsers had introduced, like, heaven forbid that we introduce a standard and standardize it well enough that browsers actually have the same interpretation. Because that's one of my problems with the Webhook URL, is that it has different implementations between Node and different browsers. Like, why? How do we come to this point in programming after so many years of experience and still come up with standards that are so obtuse and complex that there's a variety of ways to interpret them? They should just come up with an example of, like, here's 1,000 URLs in a test case. If you don't come up with the same result that we do, you're wrong. It's that simple. If you do that, you don't even need the standard, and just like program to the tests. Okay, was not successful. Success true. Okay, cool. So we're getting somewhere. And I think what I need to do is go here and say JSON true. That's what I need to do. And then let's go ahead and run these tests again. Unknown. Let's see about that. Unexpected token, quote, in JSON. I'm just trying to look at this here. Create strict syntax. Unexpected token quote. So now I would like to know what the heck happened. Okay. It double stringified the body. Oh, bless me. That's what it looks like happened. I'm looking at the error logs. Actually, I can show those over here too. So you can see here, here's the body. So double stringified the body. Maybe I just let it stringify it twice then. Hold on. I think the simplest solution here is going to be the least optimal, but I don't really care that much. No, I do. I have to care that much. I have to. Okay, so what we're going to have to do then is just call .then and get resp and do if resp.headers. Let's see, I think it should be lowercase content type. So if application JSON, or really just if JSON, we should be able to say if we see JSON/b's for boundary, just in case there's some other type of protocol that's not JSON. But basically, if we see either, I think it's, I don't remember if it's plus JSON is what you do. I think that's what you do. Or you do plus something else. Anyway, because there's we'll look at one. There's sub-protocols that are JSON sub-protocols. So if we look at, let's go look at GitHub API. So if we go look at the GitHub API, I'm going to check over here and see if we get any more comments. If we go over to the GitHub API, RESTful overview, reference, let's just go to users here. So we should see, there we go, plus JSON. There we go, right there. So basically, if it ends in JSON and either a slash or a plus, that would be what I'd say is the determining characteristic. So it ends in JSON, and then right before that, there's either a slash or a plus. So yeah, I think that's the appropriate way to look at this. That's the way to know if it is truly JSON. All right. So if that, then resp.body is going to be json.parse, .parse, resp.body is going to be resp.body. I think that's fair, like that. And then return resp. And then I probably should say in here accept application JSON to be technically correct and all. Let's just put this like this. I feel like that reads better. Okay. So parse the JSON as JSON if it is signified as JSON. Great. Okay, let's run this test again, and was not successful. That's a lie. That's a lie, and you know it. I want to see the headers on this. So was not successful. Let's go ahead, console.log resp.headers. Okay. Content type application JSON. Huh. Interesting. So this technically should be removed. So now we have yet another condition here. I've actually seen that break something else. And at first I was arguing that the something else should be fixed. Now, being a little bit more educated on the specifications, I would say that not that something else shouldn't be fixed, but that should be fixed as well. That is actually incorrect behavior because the UTF-8 is already explicit. And how much more explicit does it need to be? So or colon space. So there we go. Application JSON char set equals UTF-8. So these are the things that will match. So we've got the normal one, we've got that one. Let me go ahead and pull in this GitHub example. Oops, like that. There we go. So that regex should match. So var is JSON, whatever. Okay. Let's rsync that over, run the test again. Ba-da-da-da! It passes. Cool. And I can see in the error messages, all safe stuff too. Good. Probably want to handle that error. Well, for right now, I think it's fine that error message is coming out like it is. But we actually do want to just handle that. So PandaDoc Webhook. Let me see. I put that in the documentation, didn't I? Yep, I did. Okay, cool. So that's in the documentation here. And then I also need to add to the documentation that we now have the request as well. So we have the request. So I'm going to add that to, I guess I don't need that to here, but I can go in here and I can add that as well. Request is equal to request. Oh, I'm going to sneeze. It's coming. Oof. And what a powerful sneeze it was. Okay. So there we are. I'm going to go ahead and diminish my stream quality a little bit. I'm going to resume some Blu-ray encoding because I'm wrapping this up. Okay, so that looks good. And then I just want to document how we can use the request. So this is not really PandaDoc, so PD Webhook maybe is it better than PandaDoc? PandaDoc PD Webhook. Nope. 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 Yes. Yes, 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 yes. And then we can have a request as well. So we can do request shared key https example.com PandaDoc, let's see, API webhook PandaDoc test. And then what did we want after that? Just wanted, you know, something like this. Let's see. Event. test event. What is it called in the real world? Let me go check and see real quick. Nope, that's not what I wanted to do. What does event look like? Event document state changed. Let's see. Let's call this PandaDoc Webhook test success. Cool. Okay, request for testing. And then maybe, I don't know. I could think about that more in the future. Experimental API may change. Sure. That sounds good. All right, I'm pretty pumped about this. I think that this is actually in a great place to make its way to NPM. So I'm going to go ahead and do commit, initial commit with all the stuff. Actually, git rebase head 1. Huh? Can I reword that? Let's just call it v1.0.0 support PandaDoc Webhooks. Yeah, that's good. Let's call it that. I like that better because that's what's going to show up in, the thing with all the stuff. I guess it's not actually. Yeah, that's good. Because okay. Let me do that again. I'm gonna reset this. What? No. Oh. Yeah. Everything modified. So let's do add JS hint. Because it just kind of, again, pedantic, but it just kind of bugs me when you've got like the JS hint file or these other things that are not going to change for years and years, and they have some commit message that just doesn't quite make sense. So I'm going to just do add.js hint rc. And I'm going to do add prettier, and I'm going to do commit -m make prettier, and then I'm going to say this other stuff. Yeah, this is all good for v1.0.0 support PandaDoc webhooks. That's good for that, right? Except I think maybe the package. Meh. No, because that's gonna get bumped in just a second anyway. So yeah, that's gonna be fine. And then we're gonna do npm version. We're just gonna run patch, I guess, with the message, v1.0.1. I don't know. npm version. What are all the options we have? Can I just say tag the current version? I don't actually need a different version. npm version. I guess I don't need to run npm version because it is already what it is. 1.0.0-m v1.0.0 support PandaDoc webhooks. Sure, whatever. Git log. Tag is the same. So I guess we're good to just push, git push tags, npm publish access public. And then I'll do that. Let me check over here. We have any more? No, we don't have any more whatchamajigs. Comments. I don't have any more comments. Okay, let's go ahead and do I have my, where's my npm stuff? There it is. There we are. So that's now published. Great, excellent. And then let's go ahead and add it as a dependency over here. I've tested it. I feel that it is working. Yeah, let's go ahead and get rid of that and run that again. So I didn't like the fact that I had the link in there. Cool. All right, that looks good. Gonna run. Wait, what the heck just happened? Oh, stuff's scrolling off the screen there. It's getting long. All right, let's check out the changes here. We added PandaDoc. Oh, version file PandaDoc. No. No, we do not want to do that. Let's try this again. No. Don't do this to me. Okay, PandaDoc. Okay, thank you. Git add package. There we go. All right, good. That makes a lot more sense. We've got the right version. We have fixed the security vulnerability. We've added testing. Everything is looking pretty darn nifty. Yeah, that's great. Okay. Bug fix. Security. PandaDoc. Add verification to Webhook plus tests. Alrighty. And then let's see. I think there's something else I need to do over here real quick. Oh, not there. Pump. Okay. All right, savvy. Okay, this is good news. Oh no, I don't want to do that. Let's see here. Actually, I'm going to check out. Let's do a git fetch real quick. I'm going to get staging up to date with this particular commit here, so that we get it being tested very, very, very soon. Oh, yeah, whatever. It's just white space, right? Yeah. Okay. Should be good. And then we should be able to get cherry pick that. Oh. Okay. Well, I'm going to have to check that out off screen. So, anyway, you know, like if you liked it, because if you like what you like, you get more of what you like. Subscribe if you're interested in following along further. I'm going to go ahead and do a couple of things off screen here to make sure that we get this patch into staging so we can test it there. And yeah, I guess I'll catch you later. I think, maybe. We'll see. I'm kind of tired. I need to go to bed. So, adios.